welcome you to another edition of This is Wrestling WWE Unreal Season 2. Versage, Zach McGibbon covering episode number 4. Good day, Zachary. How are you?
I am reluctantly here right now to record this review of episode 4. I had been teasing it the last little bit. I had been pushing it off. I finally relented and I said, you know what? I've got some time. I can't push this off much longer. I'm going to watch episode 4, but I'm going to go into it with an open mind. I'm going to be the usual. You know, I've actually been, I think, pretty good on this review. I haven't been super critical. There's been stuff, obviously, we pointed out, but I feel like it's necessary that we pointed out. And so, but I saw the tease for this episode. I was like, oh, God. All right. I strapped myself in. I'm ready to go. And I'm ready to talk about what I saw from episode 4 of WWE Unreal Season 2.
Zach, wrestling is performance art. And performance art is wrestling. Yeah. Is it a shoot? Is it a work?
Oh, God.
These are the questions that we want to know. And having nothing to do with anything, I sent you a video of 1995 with Hulk Hogan in a cage with 9 other men that were bigger than him. 9.
Mm-hmm.
9. Apparently, in a cage, he beat them all up and they started leaving the cage and then having to go hold the Loch Ness Monster back. So I ask you again, is it a shoot? Is it a work?
Well, we'll talk about that in a moment because I've got some things to say. That the first 5 minutes, Lee, like right off the bat, I was just like, oh my God. I was just thrown right into this episode. Yep. So I don't know if you want to get started right now, but
I do. But the one thing I'm kind of mad at you about is that I went into episode 4 of Performance Art with the idea that they were going to tell us the story of the greatest ruse in the history of pro wrestling. Bigger than any ruse ever. Is it real? Is it fake? We're going to blur the lines. It's gray. If we can get into that area, we have done our job. But I thought they were going to cover the whole thing in this episode. No.
We're going to get more of it. We're going to get 5.
More of it in episode 5.
Oh,
so like right away, as you said, we're thrown into it. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready. They're hitting us over the head. As soon as we get into the episode, there's Trips. There's everybody in the room talking about the idea of Seth Rollins blowing out his knee and how are we going to work this? And the ideas are going around the table. There's Bobby Roode on like FaceTime or something.
Yeah.
Making sure that his presence was felt.
Yep.
And then, right into the room. The idea, nobody can know about this. Like, we can't tell anybody. And as the episode went along, they pretty much told everybody. But that's fine. That's fine. That's on them.
Yeah.
And then Paul Heyman telling us how much he hates this show. And then answering every question with the most wrestling answer ever. I even disliked Paul Heyman. And I really enjoy Paul Heyman. And I
gotta talk about this.
I disliked him a lot in the opening segment.
It was the first 5 minutes. I was like, all right. Already I clicked on the thing on the Netflix tab and I see Unreal. I was like, all right, here we go. I didn't even know what the episode title was. So when I saw Performance Art, I rolled my eyes like I've never rolled my eyes before. It's like, oh my God, really? Performance art? That's what they're calling this? All right. So I click on it. And like what you mentioned, first thing off the bat, we're thrown right into the boardroom at WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut. And no reason why they wanted to do the shoot. They were just like, why don't we do this?
Right.
Like, it was just spur of the moment. Like, why don't we just do this? And looking over at one of the assistants or whatever that's keeping notes or whatnot, they're like, no, don't put that in the creative notes. We got to make sure that nobody knows about this. This doesn't leave this room, right? We're going to make sure we fool everybody with this. And I was like, all right, here we go. Well, blah, blah, blah. But then Paul Heyman shows up.
Yeah.
And Paul Heyman, like, you know, the way he talks, right, is like, it is simply what we do in the WWE, and that is how we do pro wrestling. Like, he always has, he speaks like a lawyer because his dad was a lawyer. So he's always like emphasizing his points. And like right off the top, he's like, I remember seeing the teaser for this, but seeing the full thing where he's like, you know, I don't like this show. I don't like the way they portray pro wrestling, because if we did something like this back in the day, we would be kicked out of the wrestling business or not maintaining kayfabe or whatever. And I'm like, really? Paul Heyman is lecturing me, of all people, about maintaining the sanctity of the business and making sure that the inner workings of pro wrestling aren't exposed? The guy that ran ECW is telling me this? The guy who spoke to the dirt sheets all the time is telling me this? The guy who cut the famous promo at ECW One Night Stand 2005, talking about how he's cutting a shoot promo on JBL, Edge, Matt Hardy, like the whole thing, one of the most famous promos he's ever cut. That guy is telling me about, oh, we need to maintain the sanctity of the work because I am Paul Heyman and I talk like this, where I say a lot, but without a lot of depth, but I say it really well. So people think I'm very knowledgeable when I say it like this.
Yep.
And so we get all of this, right? And it's like, oh, we would be kicked out of the business if we did something like this. And again, I'm just sitting here like, Paul Heyman is telling me this. Like, Paul Heyman is talking, the guy that went to Vince McMahon and Vince said, you know, shoot on me. Tell me how you really feel about what happened with ECW, right? That's during the invasion angle. He went in. That guy is talking about maintaining the work, you know, and making sure that the inner workings of the business aren't exposed. So I'm already hot. I'm like, geez, this is unreal.
You've done a couple of very good impressions, which is amazing.
I know. That's how fired up I am.
No, but you're absolutely right in the way that ECW ran their entire business was to expose both companies that weren't exactly doing the performance art thing very well. And he was going to show people how it's really done. Now, they showed the Sandman, Tommy Dreamer angle, which was a...
Can I talk about this quickly?
Yep.
I need to talk about this because I saw this and I'm like, oh, I have to bring this up on the show.
Yep.
I will let you continue after that, but this has to be brought up. So obviously they're putting over the point of trying to get the audience. What is a work? What is a shoot? You look at pro wrestling history. There's a lot of different angles that they could go down of what's a work, what's a shoot. You could go back to, you know, obviously Scott Hall showing up on Nitro and you're like, oh, is that Scott Hall or is that Razor Ramon cutting the promo? You could go back to CM Punk cutting the pipe bomb promo. You can go back to, if you want to go back even earlier, you want to talk about Brian Pillman. You could have Brian Pillman cutting the promo. So all these examples. Yeah, Booker Man stuff. And so you have all of these options to choose from. Lee, no, if for the people that are tuning in and are not watching Unreal, I guarantee you will never guess the 3 pieces of WWE footage they use to emphasize the point of what is the work and what is the shoot.
Yep.
You will never get it. You will never get it. I sat there stunned when I saw the 3 pieces of footage. So the way that they conveyed the point of what is a work and what is a shoot.
I knew you were going to talk, especially the big man getting out of the wheelchair.
So nothing. So it wasn't CM Punk. It wasn't, the Scott Hall showing up on WCW. You could have showed the Montreal screw job. They showed none of that. Again, you are never going to guess what they showed. They showed Kevin Nash getting out of the wheelchair with the fake leg and lifting up the blanket on WCW 2001. And I was like, okay, that's a weird example. I wouldn't use that one, but okay. I guess somebody had lost a bet. They wanted to get that clip into the show.
But
so I was like, all right.
Here comes.
But okay, that's fine. Here's the other one. Great Khali squashing Rey Mysterio's head, making Mysterio's mouth bleed. I was like, what? That's the example. And the third one that they picked in terms of trying to convey of like, what's a work, what's a shoot and whatnot. was Vince McMahon getting into the limousine and the limousine blowing up. What? No, out of all the things in pro wrestling history, you picked Kevin Nash getting out of the wheelchair, Great Khali squashing Rey Mysterio's head.
I thought Vince died. I thought Vince was a goner. So
I was like, what? You gotta be kidding me. That's like, I was dying laughing. I'm like, unless you go back in wrestling history, the only person that believed Vince McMahon was blown up was Donald Trump, because he called afterwards. It was like, is Vince okay? I heard he blew up on TV. Other than that, no wrestling fan has ever sat back and thought, oh, I don't know if this is a work or if this is a shoot. Did Vince McMahon really get blown up in that limousine?
I was just hoping to see the monster trucks and get pushed off the top of the Cobo Arena.
So funny because they were conveyed in such a serious tone.
I know.
They were like, how do we work the audience? And it's like three of the goofiest moments in pro wrestling history.
Oh boy.
I couldn't believe it.
So they did
laughing.
I know they did start before that with the Sandman angle with Tommy Dreamer and ECW, which was at least a decent
something
example at the time. There was no internet at that time.
Right.
And so emphasizing that he would go home and not come out of his house for 5 weeks and all of that stuff. I remember watching that on VHS TV going, I know it's not real, but they're doing a good job. Like I at the time thought it was pretty cool. Yep. Like to do something like that. But as you said, the examples afterwards of what's a work and what's a shoot, and Vince McMahon is blowing up in a car, and Rey Mysterio.
I wonder if that was real. Nobody thought
Rey Mysterio's foaming blood at the mouth because Great Khali's got a face crushing move on him, or like nobody thought that was real. And
that's
then
what these WWE real people think about this show. Kevin what Nash I took away from it.
Yeah, Kevin Nash in 2001 was like, it is the antithesis of what they were trying to convey.
Yes.
Like nobody believed that. Like it wasn't, I don't even think that one was supposed to be believed. It was just like, when is he going to get up?
Yes.
And what dumb thing is he going to do to get up? Like that's, anyway. So yeah, we're off to a roaring start.
I saw this and I was like, oh, we're in for a ride for this episode, aren't we? Oh my God. And yeah, I'm still laughing at it. I just thought, like, it's so serious. And just like, oh, there's Vince blowing up on TV.
So I thought like this episode was a little bit conflicting for me, because there were not one but two people that I thought came out of this episode looking really good and things that I enjoyed. And one of them was Jelly Roll, who they got to next, and showed some of his fandom, showed how big he was, and I thought did a really good job at showing the real life when it hit Jelly Roll, when the Miz and somebody else, I can't remember who the other person was, had to pick him up after being in the ring, and he got it in his head like, okay, that's it. Like, I'm not having grown men having to do that. And he got it, and he started training and, going into the Saturday night's main event. And we're not at the point yet where we're at SummerSlam, but I thought Jelly Roll came across really well in this episode. And they also put him over quite well, that he was one of the few that wanted to really do this as a celebrity that took it seriously. So in this part, I mean, you're not ever going to get over the first 5 minutes of the show, but I thought they did a decent job at transitioning here into what I thought was a decent story in Jelly Roll wanting to be involved in the WWE.
I thought it was a great showcase of him, and I came away liking him even more.
Yep.
I like every appearance I've seen from him. I've liked. He seems like a down to earth guy, and that was also kind of mentioned too when they were doing a lot of the backstage stuff and him doing the training and how committed he was to it, like, and how seriously he took it. He's like, look, I wanted to lose weight and I wanted to be in wrestling. This was a good combo, and I was committed to it. And you saw like just how much weight he was able to lose and how much more leaner and much more healthy Jelly Roll was in the end. And I didn't realize how many times Jelly Roll had showed up for WWE until they showed it in the footage. But yeah, no, it was actually like a really good in-depth look of like how they had him train. He was working with the Matt Bloom down at the Performance Center and how they were working him. It was cool to see Robbie Brookside down there. It's like, Robbie Brookside has made it to Netflix, baby. Here we go. But no, it was really good insight of how they kind of prepped him for the upcoming matchup and all that. So
yeah, and he took it really seriously, and it leads up through the Saturday night's main event where he got in the ring, was able to block a punch, give a punch to Logan Paul, and take a Claymore from Drew McIntyre. And you could see when he got to the back that he just wanted it to be good. And I really liked the line, like, I'm going to go home, I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to be better tomorrow. And it was like, okay, like this guy's good. And I thought it was pretty good insight that you have Randy Orton saying that he wasn't sure to Triple H about bringing Jelly Roll in. I felt like that was a good point because I just didn't ever think that Randy would be okay with anybody. That's exactly how I picture Randy Orton with every single solitary celebrity that would come in, that he would say the same thing. So to hear him say the same thing, which I believe he's thinking all the time, was like, oh, okay, good. Yeah, that's who he is. And he got turned around by Jelly Roll. So good for him. So I thought this was one of the two people that came across really well in this episode. And as you said, every time I see Jelly Roll, I like him a little bit more. And not that I didn't like him. I just like him more and more every time I see him.
Yep, absolutely.
But we then get back to, the constant string of the ruse of the century that's going to thread itself through apparently this episode and the next one as well.
Yeah.
Because again, they have this like ridiculous first 5 minutes. They get into something, pretty interesting with Jelly Roll. And then literally, Zach, like the first line or the second line, Seth Rollins is there and he goes, well, I like to come up with all my ideas, but even I can't take credit for this one. Oh my God.
Oh, give me a break.
Oh my God. Here we go again.
Yeah.
But how he came around to it, because it's storytelling and what you need to do, Zach. I don't know if you know this, but you gotta affect the audience on a deep level. Like,
right.
You gotta really understand the audience and affect their emotional vulnerability at the deepest level. Like, what are you guys talking about?
I mean, it's performance art, Lee. I mean, that's what they're describing here. Performance art really in action.
So there's so much here. And Seth Rollins telling us again that gray area is what makes them special. And they're performers and they know the line, and you just need to get in that gray area. Like, oh, stop talking, Seth, please.
Yes. There's a certain motion I was thinking of as Seth was talking and another person was talking.
Right.
That involves being a jerk, and he could just screw off.
One of the things I did want to ask you about is a line that Seth Rollins said that I wrote down, that he doesn't think there's any line that can't be crossed, but you have to figure out if it's worth crossing. What did you think of that line?
It was an odd line because I've seen the WWE cross those lines many times. So I was like, I don't know, Seth. I think there is a line that WWE has
trying to-
continuously crossed.
I'm trying to think of, oh, that's right. Raven and The Undertaker, who put people up on crucifixes within like a year or two of each other, and then both
Yep.
had to significantly apologize to the audience.
Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. I'm thinking, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking old Attitude Era stuff. Like I was thinking Beaver Cleavage. I was thinking what was the angle there where they had to do the abortion angle too?
Mae Young having birthing a hand.
Yeah, Mae Young having a hand. Mark Henry with the prostitute as well. Like I'm like, I don't know, Seth. I mean, I just the Attitude Era alone, I think there's a lot of lines that were crossed. I think that's what made the era, you know.
So now they're going back to like nobody else can know, and this is the secret of the century, and they're the smartest people alive. But I found it really interesting that Triple H told Cody.
I was also going to bring this up. He always tells Cody.
Yeah.
He always tells Cody
right.
what's going on.
Like we don't want anybody to know. They didn't talk yet about how Seth Rollins wasn't allowed to tell his kids and had to fake his injury in front of his own kids because they didn't want the classmates at school to rip this, and the greatest secret in the history of pro wrestling was going to be ripped apart by grade 2 students.
That's right.
Grade 1 students. So
I'm sure they have Dave Meltzer on the line and just communicating everything about what's going on in pro wrestling.
But we can tell Cody.
Yes, we can tell Cody. Cody, I gotta tell you something. You gotta know this.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, Cody, you gotta know this. Except you're not involved with the angle at all, Cody. But Cody, you gotta know this.
You have to know. And as Cody's looking around, and there's in the background, he's like, nobody really knows this. And you look around the visual of the ring, and like Bobby Roode's there with LA Knight, and they both know. And like there's like 17 people around the ring that know.
Yeah.
And they're trying to tell us that nobody knows.
And Cody's like, wow, that's great. I mean, that's great, Paul. But in his head, he's like, why are you telling me this? I'm not doing a run-in later or anything like that. I just, I mean,
so you know what I didn't like about all of this? Well, a lot, but what I really didn't like about this is how Triple H said that Seth Rollins had asked like why LA Knight had to know. And like that was a story. Well, I think, the respect that I would have for you, Seth, but we never heard from Seth Rollins. Like, why? We heard from Seth Rollins in this episode. We just didn't hear from him in this exact point where Triple H is talking for him, going, well, Seth Rollins thought that it would be a good idea if LA Knight knew. Why aren't we hearing that from Seth Rollins?
Yeah.
Why aren't we seeing the discussion that Seth Rollins is having with Triple H about this?
But you see, it's Triple H being able to convince Seth Rollins that wasn't a great idea. So if it's anything that's going to put over Triple H as this very smart human being, this humble Hearst Helmsley type figure that he wants to portray himself, they're going to do it. But so there was that.
Oh, Zach, that's what drove me crazy. It's like, you're doing that. You're selling it to the audience this way that, you just had to convince Seth, and, you're the guy that did. Give me a break.
It was
like, he said all this
with a smile on his face, and oh, I'm so smart the way that I'm relaying this.
Even Seth Rollins had to back off and go, oh, okay. And he never brought it up again. Well, maybe he should have brought it up on the show. Isn't that what the show is about?
Behind the curtain. Oh, man.
Yeah.
But who didn't know was the referee, apparently. They didn't tell the referee about what was going on.
So riddle me this, McGibbon.
Okay.
If Jessica Carr, the referee, did not know about this, and Jessica Carr, who was in there for the safety of the wrestlers, that is one of the referee's top priorities, is the safety of the wrestlers. What the hell is Jessica Carr doing counting the shoulders down to the mat if she really believes that Seth Rollins is hurt. And that, like, if Seth Rollins in the corner, she's going to allow LA Knight to come and give him the BFT and then count his shoulders to the mat, even though she knows he's hurt? For real? Because she's not in on this? Come on.
They got to listen to what the producers say. The producers yelling at her here, count the pin, to put the shoulders down, because they're all trying to sell it backstage, of course, too, right?
Yeah.
Because it's all part of the elaborate work, is that you got to make sure you also work the people in the locker room. So, like, the scenes of, like, Bobby Roode being like, you know, I was trying to sit there and I was trying not to overreact, and I was not, just a giveaway of, like, what was going on. Like, these people are such clowns. Unbelievable. Here's the biggest dorks explaining this. It's like, oh my God.
And one of my favorite shots in the scene was Gunther standing in the middle of the room while all of this is going on, waiting for his segment next.
Yep.
And all I could think about was what he was thinking about in this at this time. Because he's probably going to know, like, there's something off about this.
Yeah.
He's a smart guy, right? Seen a lot. And when other wrestlers find out that this is happening, my God, Zach, like, what are they thinking when they really are supposed to believe that Seth Rollins is hurt? And if I got hurt, I would take the guy's finisher after being completely hurt, and then I would be counted out. And then, like, if he really busted his knee, they didn't bring a gurney out.
No,
they didn't. They just had a couple of refs help him to the back.
Yeah.
Oh. These guys.
Again, nobody knew except the wrestlers, the agents. I guess the commentators didn't know. The medical team also knew, and the creative team knew. So it was like not a very well kept secret.
No,
even the Montreal Screwjob had less people knowing about what was going to happen than this worked.
Yep. So then I'm kind of in this. They've got me back raging again after they had me rage, but then they calmed me down with Jelly Roll. And then they had me rage again and, like, showing 5 minutes more of the greatest ruse in the history of the planet, which just makes themselves look ridiculous. It's not us. It's you. You know what? It's not me. It's you. Well,
yeah.
But to their credit, they then go right into kind of evolution and the idea that Io Sky and Rhea Ripley are going to face each other in the main event of the all women's pay-per-view. And in comes, for me, the second person who I thought came out looking like $1 million in this, and that's Io Sky.
Yes.
And they put her over. Like, Triple H had nothing but great things, and she's the sweetest person on the planet and all that stuff. But she came across in this amazing. She came across to me like, I understand why she's at the top of the card.
Yep.
I just thought, you know, she doesn't speak English very well. She tries very hard. She's very sweet. She always wants to make something bigger. Love the quote when Michael Hayes was like, well, you didn't, most people just sort of jump off, but you jumped up. And she's like, yeah, make it more dangerous, or whatever she said.
Yes.
Like, give a better performance.
Right.
And they call her the rock star. And you know what? Good for her. This kind of brought me back again, Zach, and said, okay, here is what this show should be doing.
Yep.
Emphasizing the positives of your talent and showing us why they are who you tell us that they are. I thought they did a good job with Io Sky.
Yeah, I agree. She came across like the nicest person in the world as we were watching this, and I thought they did a good job of. Again, I think there has been a lot of moments in the show where they've done a really good job of humanizing the wrestlers and making them feel like human beings and you can relate to. On that aspect of the show, I think they've done a good job, especially with certain people that they want to highlight. They've done a really good job of, like, hey, you know, these are characters on screen, but here's what they are as human beings. But in pro wrestling, as we learned earlier in the 5 minutes of what's a work and what's a shoot, you take some of the characters that you learned from outside of the ring and you could try and implement it inside of the ring as well. And like what you mentioned, they were showing the spot like in the main event for Evolution about that dive to the outside, as you mentioned, and they were going over. It was funny. They were showing it's like, oh, we're going to put some padding here. And they did a good job of it because at the time I was like, wow, that's a risky bump to take to do a diving crossbody that high and put it on that firm of a floor. But it didn't look like padding at all. So I thought that was like a cool little, maybe for some, it's a little bit too learning the magician's tricks a little bit. But for me, it was pretty cool.
I agree with you. It's their job to make the wrestlers safe so that we can all watch this product and people aren't getting hurt every 2 seconds.
Yep.
For their safety. And like, I feel better watching that, knowing that the wrestlers are going to be okay and can get up and do some more stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really liked it.
I will say, as I was watching it, when Michael Hayes kept talking, I just have this feeling whenever Michael Hayes talks, he's like that uncle at the barbecue that says wild, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And there were parts of this where I was like, man, like he's going to say something like that's
really
going to make everyone really bad and uncomfortable because it was towing the line a little bit.
But don't worry, Zach. My Michael Hayes stuff is still to come.
Oh, there's more.
At the end of the program.
I'll get my fanny pack ready to go, and I'll get my doots ready to go, and I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, good. So then they went from that to the Becky, Bailey, Lyra 3-way at Evolution. And Zach, again, I'm going to ask you a couple questions here, and you just need to answer them for me, okay?
All right.
So the WWE's plan was to take Becky Lynch and insert her in Bailey's spot for WrestleMania and take Bailey out of her WrestleMania moment. And they did that, and then they had Bailey on screen talking about how disappointing it was. Like, you worked the entire time for it. I don't recall hearing a lot from Becky Lynch about this. Now, we heard from her a little bit, but the whole story here is that the only thing they really showed was Becky Lynch going to Triple H apparently at the last second.
Right.
To try and figure this out, but you couldn't really hear them. Shouldn't this be like we sit Becky Lynch down and we hear from Becky Lynch and we hear from Bailey and we hear from Triple H. And this is what Becky Lynch wanted to do because she didn't want to take Bailey's spot. And then here's Triple H's response to that. We only saw this little behind the scenes last second ditch attempt for Becky Lynch to not have Bailey's spot taken away when she probably knew she was on camera for Netflix anyway. The whole story, Zach, is about one of the regulars taking another one of the regular spot in real life. I didn't hear much about the story. I kind of got told what the story was, but I didn't really hear from the people about the story.
Yeah. It was like, and then afterwards, Becky's like making the point of trying to say, hey, this is what I want to do with the story so that Bailey can stay in. So then there's the point where you're like, oh, Triple H, how is he going to respond to this? Like, how is he going to respond to this request?
I want to know what Becky was pitching.
Well, that's the thing too. But also, like, so we didn't get that. And I'm like, well, I guess we'll get what Triple H's response is to this pitch. And he's like, oh, I'll think about it.
Right.
I was like,
that's it.
What? That's it?
They didn't tell us anything else. He just was like, okay, I'll think about it.
Yeah. And we never touched up on it ever again.
Nope. Because the whole story in real life is that one regular or veteran performer is taking the spot of another veteran performer on their Christmas day. Well, obviously people are not going to be happy about it. Tell us the story about them not being happy about it. My God, the whole point of this show is to tell us what's really happening. And what's really happening is one veteran was pissed, got one of her things taken away that she had worked really hard for, and she was disappointed. They didn't go right into the full emotion of Bailey, and they never told us what Becky was trying to pitch to make sure she was included. And then they never talked to Triple H about the decision he had to make. That was the whole story. They just went right by it and yeah, I'll think about it, and then never touched on it.
Yep. It was just a little side story, a little side plot. I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Oh, I guess we're not going to delve deeper into that. It's
no, we're not going to
mention.
That. No,
of course not. Why would we want to delve deeper into that on WWE Unreal?
Zach, it's the only story in the story that they were telling us. They didn't tell us the only story in the one thing that they were showing, and they just bypassed it.
Yeah.
So then they went back to the Io Sky Rhea Ripley main event, and then of course included and showed Naomi at home and getting her Money in the Bank.
Oh, I didn't realize we were going to get this part too. On top of my Ruse of the Century, we're also going to get the run-in of the Money in the Bank that ruined a 5-star match.
That's right. No, Zach, the real story is the highlight of how great and I want to swear so bad. No, but how bleeping smart they are. And they're going to highlight it, and they're going to show us, including, I wish people could see the video here, but like the pew, pew, pew with the guns and Michael Hayes putting his hands in his pocket. And like, I told you, I showed you. And in fact, he actually said, take that, mother bleeper. Like,
yes.
Right? Take what? You ruined the best match on the card. You and your stupid ideas ruined the one thing that was really, really good about this card. The two best, and they set it up. Number 1 versus number 2. They're the two best wrestlers in the world in women's wrestling, and they're vying to see who's better.
Yeah, which is like that's up my alley. That's
right. That's a story. That's a story. They both think that they're the best. They both are right there. Let's find out who is. And pew pew pew. Take that, bleep and bleep. Because I'm gonna show you another run-in, and we got him. We got him.
Jeez.
Are you kidding me? Like, you are bragging about screwing up the best thing you had on the card, and you're putting your guns in your pocket, and you're like, take that, mother bleeper. Like, get off my screen. You're fired, Michael. You're fired. What the hell is he doing? I want you to go back and watch that segment again with Michael Hayes in the gorilla position, as proud as he's ever been in his life about what he accomplished, not everybody else, what he did. Bragging and highlighting and showcasing the fact that you bleep this up yourself. All we wanted as a wrestling fan, all we wanted was to have the two best women's wrestlers in the world show us what they can do, and we're going to find out who's better. That's it. And they went out there and had an absolute banger. Like, it was so good, that match.
Yes.
Until, as you and I would put it, they screwed it up. But as they would put it, we take that, beep and bleep.
We nailed it.
Like, and he is so proud. I think he's going to like combust. Like, there's no other, like, there's nothing else in the business that he can do, because that's the greatest thing that's ever happened. I would walk in there. Hey, Michael, you're fired.
Get your toot ass out of here.
Seriously. What an ass.
And it's just hilarious, like, looking back on it, because all they were talking about was like, oh, we wanted to make a moment out of this. I'm like, the moment is the match. Like, that's right. The moment. You're stuff. You're good. That's it. But no, they're like, oh, we gotta get them. We're gonna get them with this Money in the Bank briefcase. And at the time, it was, reinforced again. I'm like, they've got the heel coming out and ruining this great match and cashing in. And what do? They're cheering. They're cheering that they got their match screwed up. It's so backwards. And I'm like, they're like, oh, we got them. Yeah, they're getting up and they're clapping with each other. I was like, these clowns are just so like, this really is a circus because they're a bunch of clowns in there whenever they travel. It's unbelievable. I'm just looking at this as like, they're actually proud of this. They're actually proud they screwed up this match and got this run in.
That's the thing. It's not that they screwed it up. It's that they're bragging about how they screwed it up.
And they're like, we nailed this. It's unbelievable.
He is so smug and so, I just want to use so many other words, but he is just so proud of himself and smug about how much better he is than everybody else because he got us, they got us. And there's just like, it doesn't get better than that. I bet you in that moment, he literally believed that he was the smartest person in the room and there was not even a thought that what he did wasn't the best thing that ever could be done. Like of the 100% max that you could get to, he got to 110.
That's what it was just like, and you just got an insight into their mindset too. Like we have been saying on the show, I felt so vindicated at the end. I'm like, all they care about are moments. They don't care about anything else. They love to go out there and talk about stories, but what they really care about is the individual moments in their stories. So, and it couldn't be any more clear when that scene before the match, they were showing Rhea Ripley and Io Sky talking. They were talking about the jump over the boxes, right? To doing the diving crossbody. And what did Michael P.S. Hayes say to Io Sky in terms of setting up the spot? Hey, I think we got another moment we could do over here. Not spot, moment. That's how they think. And so it's like, we got another moment. How many more moments does this company need before it becomes inorganic to their minds? Like, you know what? I think we're overloading on the moments here.
Yeah.
I
just couldn't imagine. So my two top stars in on the women's side are clearly Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. Like it's not even close, right? They're the two top people. And they just go out there and have one of the best matches they've ever had.
Yep.
In the main event with the pressure of main eventing the all women's pay-per-view, Io Sky was talking about it. And we know Rhea Ripley has had anxiety in the past and has to deal with that. And the pressure that would be on them both. If I am running that company, when they come through the curtain, like I just felt like I need to apologize to them about the dumb storyline that we did that interfered in one of the best matches that we've seen in a very long time. Like I'd be apologizing to them. Instead, they're looking for the gratification and they're basically telling them that they did a really good job. But in the back of their mind, they're like, yeah, you were just the preview for our great idea to bring Naomi in, to cash in Money in the Bank. And this whole, like, Zach, I'm getting worked up. But
fired up.
But again, they came on screen and because they showed Naomi lose to Jade Cargill and they showed her kind of getting busted up and that she was going to lay there. And when she came out of the ring, I think it was Bruce Pritchard. I'm almost positive it was. That's like, well, they're never going to be thinking of Naomi now. Right? She's gone out there. It's a no holds barred match. She's lost. She's lying in the ring. Like,
they were like, sell that you're out and blah, blah, blah.
She just keep selling. And they're proud and they're beating their chests about we got them because no one's ever going to think that they're going to come back to cash Money in the Bank.
Yeah, the person that has the Money in the Bank briefcase that can cash it at any time.
That's how every cash goes. Every cash. what's the biggest cash that you can think of in like the top caches ever? What's one that comes to mind?
I think of Edge
Yeah.
right at the start. I
Yeah,
think of
so-
Dolph Ziggler.
Okay, so let's talk about Edge.
Yep.
He lost earlier in the night on that card in 2006. Correct?
Correct.
All right. One of the biggest ones I think of is Seth freaking Rollins at WrestleMania,
That's right.
going in and making it a three-way and winning the world title at WrestleMania. That was a big deal.
Yep.
When he did it. It was a moment, Zach. It was a moment.
It certainly was.
Earlier that night, he got beat by Randy Orton clean on one of the greatest RKOs because he went for the stomp and Randy threw him up in the air and they had a moment with the RKO.
Right.
And Seth was down and out. Every time they cash the Money in the Bank in, this is the same plan. And now they're telling us we've got them. They're never going to think. That's all we think. Every time I think of somebody going out with a Money in the Bank briefcase and they lose, I'm like, they're cashing.
Yeah.
Every time. And those pompous asses are sitting up there going, we got them. No one's ever, because she lost to Jade Cargill and no holds barred 30 minutes ago. No one's ever. There was one match in between.
Yeah.
One. Because they said it. They're like, you got to go out right away? No, there's one match in between.
Yeah. I got 30 minutes.
Yeah. I got about 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But everyone's going to forget. Everyone. She's got the Money in the Bank, and this is how every cash-in goes. Everyone. And those pompous asses sitting there going, we got him? Like, we got him with this. This is the show of we are smarter than you. Oh, my God. I wanted to come through the television at Bruce Pritchard. No, Bruce. In fact, when the person goes out with the Money in the Bank and they lose, that's all I think about. That's all I think about is that person's coming out to cash.
Yes.
It's the least surprising thing ever. So then when you did it later on, 30 minutes later, in the best match you've had in a long time, when you did it, you didn't get me, Bruce, because that's all I thought about.
Yeah. I thought, man, I had a great match taken away because they can't help themselves and they needed another moment in their moments-based Instagram reels, TikTok, social media engagement view of booking pro wrestling.
So the story here, again, I would like to remind people what the real story was on Unreal.
Yes.
The real story was Naomi left the company with Sasha Banks. Why did she leave the company when she had the tag team championship and walked out on a Monday Night Raw? I don't know. You didn't tell us.
Yeah.
How did she get that bridge back? How did she get extended back into the WWE after burning that bridge? I don't know. You didn't tell us. And then that person who had been in the WWE for a very, very long time finally wins the heavyweight championship. And you can see like clear emotion in the back with Nia Jax and like all the other women wrestlers and how happy they were for Naomi. As much as I might not like her, or doesn't matter if you like her or don't like her, it's clear that the other wrestlers in the back were very, very happy and that it was an emotional thing. Oh, but we didn't hear from Nia Jax. We didn't hear from anybody that was happy for Naomi. We heard from them and how goddamn smart they are about their angle, about how they put it over. But we barely heard from Naomi after, barely. And we didn't hear from any of the people who were there waiting for her, crying when she walked in with the belt. After going through, she left with a tag team championship. She walked out in the company. She came back into the company, and then she won the world heavyweight title. And we didn't really hear any of that. Nothing. We heard how smart they were in their angle to get her the belt.
Yes.
We didn't hear anything of what the real story was. The real story was just somebody walking out and then having an ability to come back, and what was all behind that. And then she finally gets to the top of the mountain, and how's she feeling? How are the others feeling around her? We didn't hear any of that. And Zach, this is where I thought that you can see that they're wrapping up. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, so at this
What a
point,
roller coaster.
no, but at this point, I'm like, you're telling me we're not getting to the ruse of the century in this episode?
No.
That's all I felt. Like, I felt this like squeezing of my neck going, we're not getting to you. Like, you have something smarter that you're going to tell us about on the next episode? But don't worry, Zach. Don't worry. Because we get to the press conferences.
Remember those? Remember when they did press conferences?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, after Trips is up there praising all the women, saying what a great job they did and the bars raised and like lines we've never heard before, Trips.
Of course.
Without being asked. Without being asked. Says, I know you're probably going to ask about Seth at the all women's pay-per-view. I know that you're probably going to ask about him. So, yeah, he's going to be in Birmingham tomorrow with Dr. Douglas or...
I thought it was like Dr. Joseph, whatever.
No, James
Could be
Andrews.
Dr. Nick from The Simpsons.
Dr. James Andrews was the guy forever and ever, but he finally got replaced down in Birmingham, Alabama, which is where they do knees.
Right.
And then he said, well, I know you're going to ask about him. But, he's going to go to Birmingham tomorrow. By the way, it doesn't look good. Like, So let me get this straight. At the press conference after the all women's pay-per-view, without being asked at a press conference, which is questions from the media.
Correct.
That's what a press conference is.
Theoretically, in WWE, yes.
Without being asked, you're like just going to tell us your big lie again because you're really fooling people and Seth Rollins is going to Birmingham. Oh my, Zach,
Maybe he saw Cody Rhodes in the gathering. He's like, oh, I should probably put this over because Cody's in the room because I've been telling Cody everything along the way and he's got to know.
Like, oh my God.
He's got to know.
I couldn't believe this. Like, he wasn't even asked at an all women's pay-per-view. Yet he's going to make sure that that's answered about Seth Rollins going to Birmingham. But by the way, guys, it doesn't look good.
Just want to let you know. And Ed Turley's like, I got this little secret and they don't know. Oh, I'm so smart. I'm so devious. Oh, they don't know. He's just giggling on the inside because he's like, oh, I've got this great secret. I can't wait to tell you. Oh, but I can't tell you now. You gotta wait. You gotta wait a little bit longer because boy, when I'm like, oh, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good.
Zach, that's the exact voice. That's the exact thought. That's everything I think that he's thinking. Yes. That's a perfect encapsulation.
Ooh, you don't know what I know. You don't know what I know. Ooh. Oh, you're going to get fooled when this gets revealed later.
Oh, then the show ends. And I'm like, are you
gotta be kidding
me? Like, are you kidding me? First of all, I was led to believe that at least I would only have to get through one episode to get the ruse of the century done. No. But I do get the ruse of the decade in with Naomi, and you got to show us how great and smart you are in that. And you got to hit us with the press conference at the end about how smart you are and lie to us again at the press conference because you have no idea what's coming.
You have no idea.
And then the show ended. And Zach, I for the good of the listener, for the good of the sanity, for everyone following along, I'm going to have to watch the last episode at some point.
Yes.
And I do not want to.
No, me neither. I was like, I thought we were done. But I guess with the ruse so big, Lee, you have to spread it out for another episode.
Right.
Like, oh,
yeah.
Come on. And like, it's the tease of like Punk holding up the World Heavyweight Championship, the music hitting. I was like, oh, it's just going to be God, that's gonna suck. I don't know what else is going to be, what else they're gonna put over, just how smart and genius they are, and just giggling like little schoolgirls about, the secret that they're holding, and they can't wait to tell them, but you gotta wait for it, and blah blah blah. It's just I can't. I thought we were good too. I thought this would be it, but now we
Right.
got it stretched out
It
to
was
another
like,
episode.
head down. I just got to get through this one. And you know what? I had my working boots on. I had, you know, I had drinks and chips and
Yeah.
like everything at my side to distract me. Like okay. I'm gonna get through this one.
Gotta do one more.
And not only do I have to do one more, I'm raging at this episode.
I just watching it was just like I was getting mentally prepared, and I was just thinking, oh, what are they gonna do? Like how, and it was just so blatant how awesome they think they are.
Mhm.
Like just so blatant. Like you would think maybe there'd be a little bit of subtlety, but I forgot this is the WWE, and subtlety is practically a hammer, a sledgehammer in this case, in the WWE. Like
Yep.
it is just, they smash you over the head with how great they are. And I just like from the planning of it to this, and even at the start, like there was a couple other things I wanted to mention, like right from the start after the intro graphic, they had Triple H talk. I was like, oh, here's Triple H is gonna lecture me, and he's like, as the year goes on, we have more events that we have to book
Oh,
for,
so
and so
busy.
because business is picking up, and I'm like, I wonder why that weekend specifically they had 2 different WWE shows. Huh? I was wondering why business picked up on those particular. Lee, that was all in Texas weekend. I wonder why business picked up specifically on that weekend. And they brought back a show from 2018 that they never did again, but they tell you it's so successful. It's so successful they never did it again. And except until 2025. And then
When
you're
they
like,
needed
oh well,
something
we
to
got
go up, they needed something to go up against All In. Yeah.
yes, and get the good PR out of it too. And so it's like, oh, let's load up this weekend. It's just this random weekend. No other reason. We're just like, you know what? We love the WWE fans. We're going to load up this weekend. And I was like, I knew they were going to mention that on the show, obviously, but it was just funny how they played it off. It's like, with the way that we operate and business is picking up, like we have to get more shows. There's more events that we have to book for. It just happens to be the event that we're booking for is the same weekend as All in Texas last year, but no coincidence whatsoever. It's always like non-coincidental with the WWE. So there was that moment, everything with just the game planning. Like these people are just a bunch of clowns as they're describing this work that they're trying to pull off, and just how they're going around, and Triple H is going on this little, headsets like, all right, I need to tell you something here because I want you to be prepared for it. And they're also talking about like, we don't want them to ring the bell. We don't want them to ring the bell because that would then ruin the work if it rings the bell. Like it's got to be something different. So you've planned this out where you're going to work people. You're going to try and make this as believable as possible. So one of the things that makes it believable, you're going to take that element away so that it stands out like a sore thumb when you do it differently.
Right.
It's like, oh, these people. And we got one more episode. Thank God there's only one more episode left. I'm glad this isn't like a 10, 15 episode season, because I'd be bowing out right now. I'd be like, Lee, this has been fun. It hasn't, but this has been fun. I'm out. We're good. Let's just stop at episode 4 and let's just call it. Let's just, wipe our hands clean of this and never speak of this ever again. But fortunately, there's one more episode left, and I will brave it. I will brave it. Yep. I'll try to go in with an open mind, but Lee, they are making it so tough.
That's a really, really great point about the weekend, about how they were so busy and we got so many events, and they don't tell you the truth that they booked those events. Like, just there's you touched on it, but it should be highlighted. They brought back a women's pay-per-view that they said was so successful, and it had not been done since 2018.
Right.
So from 2018, they never did it again until 2025.
Yeah.
And that coincidentally was on the same day as AEW's All In that ran in the afternoon.
Yes.
And
it was the day after All In Texas, the Evolution show specifically, but that same weekend.
Yeah, because Saturday night's main event was that night.
That was the one that they
yeah. So, but they had both of those events,
yes.
and they had Evolution, they had Saturday night's main event, and bringing back a show that they hadn't done in 7 years because it was so successful is like lying to you. It wasn't successful, so we didn't do it again. That's what business is.
Yep. And I like those Evolution shows, but the facts are the facts, right? Like, if business, if something was so successful, do you see the business people not do it again?
Right.
They milk it for however much it's worth right into the ground. Yep. And they didn't do it with Evolution again. They just so happened to bring it back where it's like, you know what? We could get good PR out of this because there are fans that want it back. We could get some good PR out of this by hosting this PLE/pay-per-view/premium event or whatever they want to call it and put it on the same weekend so that, you know, we could put it on the Sunday and get people's, you know, putting us over saying, oh, they're bringing it back. They finally see the error of their ways and blah, blah, blah. And they're bringing back Evolution.
Because the media works and you know it and I know it. If you have events on Saturday, they usually don't get talked about until Monday because Sunday is just not a day that people watch the news or read the news. It's their time away with their families. So running another event on Sunday night after you've run an event on Saturday night, you've run 2 events since the AEW show and you are trying to drown out all of their news. That's what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Period. And for them not to be honest about that, that's what you're doing. And people know you're doing it. So to pretend that we're just so busy, we're just so busy.
Yeah, business is picking up.
We've had events just put on us. No, you did that.
Yeah, they just sprung up out of nowhere. Like, oh, I guess we have to adapt to this. Oh, one more, Lee. There's one more.
I know.
Well, I'm gonna crawl into this episode. I'm gonna try.
No, but you know what? I'm turning this frown upside down because there's now this. Maybe it can't be worse. And I'm just, even if it is, I'm prepared for the biggest car wreck ever. And you know what? I'm just going to understand it's going to be a car wreck. Now, I thought this was the car wreck, and it was. But there is a wreck coming that's the size of the one, right? 10 times bigger than the one that happened today. So
yes. I can't wait for the next episode when they explain what's a work and what's a shoot. And they cut to a clip of Stone Cold beating up Booker T in the grocery store as an example of what's a work and what's a shoot. I just can't wait for that. I can't wait for what's a work, what's a shoot. And it's Undertaker being resurrected from his coffin with lightning striking the stage so that he could come up as like, was that a work or was that a shoot? I don't know if that. I can't wait for that.
But Zach, it's the why we're great as performers is we understand the gray area.
That's right.
We are the ones that understand, Zach, that if there's just a little bit of doubt, Seth Rollins with this, just a little bit of doubt. We just need a little bit of doubt.
A little bit of doubt. That's right. Yeah, that clip where he's like, all you need is just a little bit.
And he's showing an inch, like a half an inch of his hands. Like just a shred of doubt. That's all you need. It's all you need.
Yeah. And then it cuts to Papa Shango cursing the Ultimate Warrior. What's a work? What's a shoot? I don't know if that's I don't know if that's a work or a shoot or not, you know?
Oh. Anyway, there's I guess some entertainment in the fact that it emotionally charges me in a negative way, but still emotionally charges me where I get off of my couch and I'm yelling at the TV in the middle of the day. Like but this is work, right? Like some people think that this is, on your off time. No, folks, this is work.
No.
But for you,
are you saying, Lee, this is what we do?
This is what we do.
This is what we do.
And you as the listener, you guys don't understand how hard it is for me to sit on my couch and watch this and get through it. Like you just don't, you're not a professional viewer of the television. So you don't really understand what I'm doing, but I'm telling you,
Yeah.
like you just don't get it.
Is this a work or is this
And
a shoot? And it's a cut of me raging about Jack Perry. Is this a work?
Right.
Is this a shoot? Is this what's going on here? But this is what the fans need to know, is that this is what we do here at This Is Wrestling. I mean, business is picking up. We're recording so many episodes, and business is picking up. And, this is how we get you. This is how we get you. You don't know if we're working or not. We could be shooting. We could be working. But it's that little bit, Lee.
Yeah,
you got that little bit. That's what keeps them coming back.
Save room, because we are going to come back for one more episode.
Yeah. Stay tuned. We will present our slideshow of our record profits that we made from This Is Wrestling. and our record. We made the most money from this episode of This Is Wrestling we have ever made. And we're going to broadcast it to you and say thank you for your business, sir. Appreciate it. And we're going to keep on making records here at This Is Wrestling.
Right. Never seen such pompous asses in my life for them to tell people that.
Unbelievable.
Your hard-earned money, the money that you made over weeks and months, we've just taken from you in one slot. And here it is. We're proud of it. We're going to tell you all about it.
This is what we used your down payment on a mortgage for.
Right.
And this is how we think of it. This is how we think of you.
All right. Well, I look forward to the season finale of WWE Unreal episode number 5. Yeah, I am, because the season
that means it's over?
Means it's over, right?
Oh, gotcha. Fair enough.
At the end. It's over.
Yeah.
I believe.
Hopefully there's not like a secret episode that like springs up on us that I'm like, oh, there's another one. And
well, if they're
like
smart, Zach, if they're smart, they'll show us a behind the scenes of the behind the scenes show.
Oh, wow.
They'll do a behind the scenes show, and then like they'll still just tell us how smart they are and not tell us anything that really happened. But I think if it's a good idea to give the behind the scenes of the behind the scenes show.
Yes.
Right.
You got to get the content. That's what we've learned in WWE. So like we go like behind the scenes within the behind the scenes. Right. That's how we do. This is what we do, Lee. This is
making
what we do.
Moments.
That's right.
If I hear the word moment one more time on this show,
when I heard Michael P.S. Hayes say that, I'm like, really? Even building the match, we have to say moment.
So go back, folks. Go back, because I'm going to ask Zach to go back. So you go back as well to when Io Sky and Rhea Ripley were wrestling on this show, and they do the angle with Naomi, and they cut to Michael Hayes sitting in the gorilla position behind the scenes. And I beg of you to watch him again and just try to think about how smart he thinks he is in that moment. It's insane. It's actually insane to me.
I'm shocked that the guy that said on this series that he believes he was put on this earth by God to book pro wrestling and to be involved in pro wrestling would think thinks very highly of himself on segments that he's in charge of. I truly am shocked at this revelation.
Well, you go back and watch it again, Zach. I'm going to go back and try to watch how 9 giants in WCW in a cage were not able to take out Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, with the weakest chair shots you have ever seen from Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, and then retreated out of the cage because they were scared. The bad guys were scared, retreated out of the cage to then hold back a guy who's never wrestled in his life.
Correct.
But is 450 pounds. All right.
Well, that is Giant Haystacks from the famous Big Daddy versus Giant Haystacks feud. Don't watch the matches because they're not good, but it is a very popular feud in the UK. So you know what? Now that you mentioned, you're right. He probably has not actually legitimately wrestled before. But
all right. Well, that's going to do it for episode number 4. I can only imagine what's to come in the season finale of WWE Unreal Season 2 review here on This Is Wrestling.